All right, welcome back to the Word of Mouth podcast. I hope you enjoyed the switch. Some of these episodes I've had previously recorded, and I didn't see the need to re-record them. Rather, I just provide a little context and then just play them raw as is because, they're pretty good. And I like to learn through experiences, like life experiences, mostly getting smashed in the face with them, and that usually teaches me that it's bad. Sometimes I learn good things without having to experience pain, but, And I like movies. I like movies and shows and ways, so if you young ones are down to go on an adventure with me and you want to do some homework, so your first homework episode would be to Google rope-a-dope and learn about Muhammad Ali and what that fight was all about and how he won, right? So that's a good one for you. The next one would be watching Over the Top, because his mindset, Sylvester Stallone in that show, man, that's everything, dude. Like his size compared to the other arm wrestlers is much smaller, right? He's the underdog in almost every fight, but his determination, his heart, his will, his that's what does it, right? He wins because of it, and when he turns his hat around, that's the switch, right? That's what he goes into beast mode, and he's unstoppable. And I grew up watching that movie, man. My dad was a truck driver, right? We loved watching Over the Top. It was a big movie that we would watch, and we would go ride with my dad in his truck, right? Anyways, there you go. There's your first movie assignment, is to watch Over the Top with Sylvester Stallone. And then the next episode is called Aim Small, Miss Small. I noticed my time in the Navy, like people did a good job of pointing you towards information during lesson training, but nobody really showed you how to do anything. Like this is how you can write Navy evaluations, performance evaluations. Here's a bunch of links to some websites to go study how to do it, right? It wasn't really helpful. And I learned more when people show me how to work with my hands, right? One of my best mentors in the Navy, old Uncle Chuck, he was my chief when I was learning how to drive a boat. I was being groomed for a position called boat captain. And when he taught me how to drive the boat, the first thing he did was he demonstrated how to do it. And he used a toy boat to show me like what each of the maneuvers of the sticks would do to the boat. And then he demonstrated it by doing it, right? And he's like, so see, if I do this, this happens. And if I do that, that happens. So I understood from a top view what was going on. And then he had me come drive the boat and do what he was just doing. But he put his hands on top of my hands. And he moved the boat for me. And I just watched what was happening as my hands were moving the controls. And then he took his hands off and had me do it. And after I got good at it, then he went and sat in his seat, which was a few seats away, and he could just give me little critiques. And it's a beautiful way to teach somebody how to do something, to first demonstrate and then do it with them and then step back and give critiques. And you have to give people something tangible to do. You can't just give them a bunch of websites or theories or medical advice and then let them sit with it, right? Give them something to start with. And then as they start doing some of the examples that they like, then they'll come up with their own thing, right? For me, Aim Small, Miss Small is an episode about all the things that I did wrong when I was trapped on an 11-year hamster wheel trying to get sober, in and out of AA. What got me there the first time was a story I told called The Vodka Bottle of Shame. And I was in Bahrain. I was a newly promoted chief, staying in a hotel for 45 days waiting on my housing to get settled, where I would move into an apartment. And every night I would go back with a bottle of vodka and a 6-pack of Bud Light Platinum, which I would drink most of it in the night. And one night I came back and I did the same thing. And when I woke up in the morning, I was naked and the vodka bottle was missing. And it wasn't that I woke up naked that scared me initially, because that was common. If I drank, I would just sleep naked. It was that I could not find the bottle anywhere in the room. And I had no recollection of leaving that room. The last, as far as I was concerned, I came in the room, I closed and latched the door and put the do not disturb sign on. I drank, I passed out, and I never left the room. So the bottle should be in here somewhere. And it wasn't. I couldn't find, I tore that room apart. And which means that the only way that bottle left that room is that I left that room with that bottle in my hand, and I don't remember doing that. And since I woke up naked, my concern was, did I leave this room naked with that bottle in my hand and wander around the hotel in the middle of the night and somehow get escorted back here and not remember any of it? And I mean, it absolutely scared the lights out of me. It was one of the biggest scared straight moments I ever had. Because now, the thing about Navy promotions is I'm not paid for an E7 chief yet. And so if I got in trouble for something like this, I would not only get demoted, I would get demoted all the way back to E5. And there are horror stories of people, that happening to people. And I am right now prime in a position to be one of them. Oh my God, what did I do? But you don't think about this stuff before, and when you're a drunk trapped in that cycle, like, this is your normal, you do this stuff all the time. You don't realize how ridiculous it is until you sober up and look back and be like, what was I doing, man? Oh my God, I put so much on the line. And I was so scared, man. I was so terrified for over a month that I was going to get called into Master Chief's office or this commanding officer's office, and they were going to show a video of me, security camera footage of me walking around the hotel at 3 a.m. like, doo-a-loo-a-loo-ah, with a fucking bottle in my hand, like pissing in the trash can or something. I don't know. Oh my God, I'm telling you, man. I mean, I didn't sleep. I was so scared. Like, the butterflies in my stomach, the anxiousness, the fear. Every time somebody said my name, I was like flinching, like, what? What is it? And it scared me so bad. That's when I went to my first ever AA meeting in Bahrain in 2011. Right? And it would not be until October 4th of 2022 that I would achieve 1 year sober. 11 years. I would finally start my last attempt. Well, not last, but I would finally start on October 4th of 2021. 10 years after I went to my first AA meeting, I would begin what would be my first year sober. Actually sober, by choice, no alcohol. And so it was not an easy ride. Fortunately, I never got the phone call or never got called into anyone's office. Nothing ever became of the vodka bottle of shame, but God, did it scare the pants off of me, right? And it was enough to scare me into AA the first time. And to start hearing stories from other people, and each time I heard one of those stories that was similar to mine, it made me feel less crazy. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't alone in the world. There are other people like me, and I started to talk to them and make friends with them, and man, there's so much power in hearing that. And Aim Small, Miss Small is a story of the things that I did wrong during those 10 years, right? How I would keep falling back. And then what I figured out was I was overextending myself. I was doing too much, and I was putting myself at risk of not achieving things, which would bring on the most powerful triggers, at least for me, to drink again. And that's shame, guilt, disappointment, right? Especially when others are disappointed in you because you didn't meet an expectation. And so what worked the 10 years later when I started that first year where I got finally a year sober was that I aimed small, missed small. And I didn't overextend myself. And because of that, I didn't put myself at risk of shame, guilt, and disappointment. and I was successful. So I hope you enjoy it.